What are we, day 10, day 11
Yes.
of Nancy Guthrie, a possible abduction, a latest message from Savannah Guthrie herself on Instagram. Here it is.
We enter into another week of this nightmare. Thank you so much for all of the prayers and the love that we have felt, my sister and brother and I, and that our mom has felt, because we believe that somehow, some way, she is feeling these prayers. We believe our mom is still out there. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
It just makes me sick. This is just, again, how is this real life?
It doesn't seem like it.
It doesn't at all. And by the way, the audio was sped up a little bit because the actual video was about 1:42, and I
it's hard to watch.
Cried when I watched it, and that I'm not exaggerating. I really did. I felt I am invested in this case. I think a lot of us are invested in this case. There have been other ones that now I'm embarrassed to say that I have not been as invested in.
Because it's not as famous.
This one feels, I don't know, it's just because it's so odd. It's so odd that it is happening, and we're watching it in real time.
You have a famous person's elderly mother supposedly kidnapped.
Yes.
Did they, because they got a ransom note, which was $6 million. They never paid it. Because,
we don't know.
Okay, we don't know, but I heard that the time passed that they couldn't prove that she was alive. Can you imagine if she didn't pay the money and she was alive at the time and she ended up dying? That would be horrible.
I know.
No, can you imagine they pay the money and she's been dead the entire time? Can you imagine that they pay the money and they're never going to get her back?
But you said yourself you understand why they would pay the money even if she died, because they want her back. And then also, in my opinion, is they would do that that's a way that they could catch this person.
My thought process is I continue to hold out hope that they really truly believe she's alive because they keep making these videos.
Right.
My whole point was that if I had learned and I knew for a fact that my mother had been killed by these people who kidnapped her, there would be no video. They have taken everything away from me.
Not doing
At that point, I don't know. I have no idea. At this point, we don't even know if the ransom notes are real.
Right. Yeah.
We don't even know.
And it's not to be morbid, just the more, it's just so unusual for anyone of that age to be kidnapped, and then how long it's taken. And I think, Katie, we're talking about off the air how they're like, and Nancy Grace pointed that out as well, where it's like, hey, this is the deadline. And if that doesn't work for you, how about Monday?
That's so odd.
And then my gut feeling is that she's been dead since day one.
And
it makes me really sad because she was in poor health. There was obviously a violent struggle. There was blood. She doesn't have her medication. I think something went wrong, and I feel like this whole ransom note was like a red herring to like distract people from the fact that she was murdered. Maybe
but why would somebody murder her?
It might have been like a burglary that went wrong, and then they took her. I don't know, but I don't know the answer. I just feel like, unfortunately, she passed away that night. That makes me really sad.
Well, I don't know. And by the way, none of this has been confirmed. We don't know.
No, we don't know.
We don't have any idea. All we know is that was Savannah Guthrie's last video that was posted, and she posted it on her own Instagram. Some of the people that we've been following that kind of break down each video, so it makes it a little bit easier to understand. And one of them is the unexpected spy.
I watched her latest one,
who's used to work for the FBI and law enforcement. And she said that she thought that last video was just off the cuff. Savannah was clearly not reading anything that had been prepared. She was very emotional, but also just stoic. I mean, it was like almost as if she had no emotion
been drained,
left.
But if I was going to commit a kidnapping, I would go in at gunpoint, and it would be an older person, because I would feel that if the person was younger, they have more of a chance to fight against me and get away.
But it's like you have to do. Did they case her? Were they following her? Did they know whose mother she was?
And they're saying, sorry, Katie.
No, I was just going to say real quick about the ransom note. So the deadline, Savannah posted that last video on her Instagram about an hour or so before the deadline, which was 7 o'clock Arizona time, 7 o'clock p.m. Arizona time. My understanding is that the ransom was $6 million. And when Savannah posted, we didn't know if the digital wallet had been filled with the ransom money.
Right.
I think the speculation was it had not been. And according to what we're hearing, the ransom note said once the wallet's filled, then we will return, or you'll see your mother within 12 hours. Well, that deadline's over.
Yeah, it's passed.
Right, because they didn't pay the money.
We don't know.
We have no idea. There's no alert that says, "Oh, we paid the ransom." I mean, there's been no update on that.
One thing I did find fascinating yesterday and interesting, I think it's probably important for even local people to know, law enforcement and stuff, is that digital forensics and is such a big thing now. And there's an expert, and he said there's a misnomer that you can't trace Bitcoin or you can't trace the cryptocurrencies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He said that was the case at first. He goes, but he said now we have technology where they uncovered $6 billion or $10 billion of misused cryptocurrency at one point for somebody. But anyway, they said you can trace it. There are markers. Now, the only problem is if it goes to another country and they don't have the regulations for it, it could be a little bit harder. But he said it's not like. And so usually what they do, they'll test it. If they have the address, they'll send like $1, and then they can start to have like a trace of where it's going, who it belongs to.
Right.
It's a lot harder than like a bank.
Sure.
I mean, there is a lot of possibilities. He said, but they said local law enforcement typically is not trained on how, or they don't have a person that can properly perform digital forensics.
Well, I know that I'm not going to give details exactly who and how, but there was an email at some point that went out. And the way it was set up, they knew the people at the work and basically sent the email who would pay a bill from the person's boss. And they're like, oh, okay. And they paid the bill. And even though it went to a bank, they couldn't trace it. It was like an offshore account and it was gone. It was a bank too. It's gone. They could not get the money back. They didn't even know who it was. And I'm like, how not? How do you not know it's going into this account? You can't call up Switzerland and be like, hey, we just got this money on this account.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know. I do know when Nancy Grace talked about the UFED. Do you remember we brought that to you a couple days ago? The UFED. I think a lot of people were like, wait, it does what now? Well, it traces every bit of your digital transactions, every single bit. So when those Snapchats that you think you sent that erased, they can find them.
Yeah,
those text messages that you think you erased and sent to oblivion, they can find them. Every single email, phone call, text message, you name it.
Think about all the naked ones that have been sent.
All the things.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then there's the FBI, and there's all different experts that was on actually NBC and the Today Show. His personal feeling was that the ransom note that he reviewed was not legitimate.
Oh.
And he gave his reasons, but he doesn't know. But he said, based on my expertise, this does not hold up.
Well, if there's no ransom note, that would be it would lead me to believe that it was more of a kidnapping because something went back. Because why would most people just don't kidnap somebody unless it's like maybe a lot younger person on like a sexual thing.
Well, and what I thought was strange from the very beginning is that there's never, according to the family, there had never been a way for them to contact.
Right.
I mean, we hear you. Tell us now how to get in touch with you.
How? And have some sort of proof of life if you're really trying to get the money. And they said also how long it's taken. They said usually if ransom, they want it done. Like,
not 2 deadlines.
No, not 2 deadlines, not 10 days. Let's go to our official attorney, Lisa Lanier. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. Another reason that people think that this is a hoax, this ransom demand, is the way they asked for the $6 million, and they said $6 million US dollars. And when you're in the United States, you're used to our ways of speaking about money. You say, we want $6 million. You don't say $6 million US dollars. And that's the way people in other countries say it. And so they're thinking that this could be some scammer internationally.
God, yeah.
Which is gross.
Yeah.
They see a tragedy. Yeah. Although I did read today that Annie Guthrie found a ransom note in the house.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
And I asked for the source and everything, and they showed sources that Annie Guthrie, when she went to go get her mom, to find her mom when she didn't show up for church, which also is a little bit misleading, she would meet with some women to watch church online. So, but anyway, she didn't show up for that.
If the ransom note is in the house.
But they have one in the house and then others that were sent.
Were they the same ransom note?
That was my understanding.
We don't know.
Or similar.
We don't know for sure, but yeah. And I had the great pleasure of having a guest over for the Super Bowl, had a little Super Bowl party, and who was a retired profiler, SVU detective that went on to be a profiler and then went on to teach profiling to detectives all over the United States. And she was just had an awesome career. She's retired. She told me that she thinks it's definitely somebody close to the family, if not a family member, but somebody that knew her, somebody close to the family, and very much an amateur that is very much in over their head, panicking. And if it was a kidnapping, now they're probably known to Nancy Guthrie. That it's probably been figured out. And now they're in a box of pretty much having to kill her.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, but there's a lot of the signs about it that show that it was very amateurish.
Was it, Lisa, did your friend touch on whether it had anything to do with Savannah Guthrie, knowing that she's such a public figure and that they were going to take the mother? I mean, had anything to do with that, or do you think there's some other?
She said that it's simply because Savannah Guthrie has a high net worth, that they were, they knew she could, and she was very close to her mother, and that she had the ability to pay millions of dollars. I think her net worth is like $40 million or something, and somebody that knew that. But what they were not expecting was for it to play out so much in the public as it has. And that's where the amateur got first caught off guard, was like, holy crap, like this has become,
How would they not know that? It's amateur.
Just naivety.
Definition of amateur. Because my theory was, and I said this last week, unfortunately, and I just restated it, Lisa, if you missed it, just real quick, and hopefully it's wrong, is that something went wrong either with a family member. I do think it's somebody that knows her, and maybe it's a burglary or something, and she died right away, and then they start doing these ransom notes the next day to try to distract law enforcement.
You said the ransom note was found in the house. Well, if that ransom note was found in the house, then we know for sure that is the real ransom note. But was there no contact?
Because they wouldn't have had time to do that. There would have been no time.
Unless it was a family member that went and planted the note afterwards. I know it's...
Oh, my God, this is
that's jumping.
Yeah, I know. It's like
but
crazy.
If you're trying to cover your tracks, that could be like, ooh, well, look what we found. Oh, my gosh, a ransom note. And then it turns into this whole thing.
I think it's the brother-in-law, like Katie said.
Well, and I mean, if it is the brother-in-law, it may not have been a kidnapping for ransom plan ever. It might have been, let's off the old lady and my wife will inherit some money that I'll get to spend.
Right.
Ooh, didn't think of that way.
Yeah.
Well, we did think about that from the very beginning, Jason, because we were saying that would have been the motivation. That would have been the reason why. But then I thought, well, that can't be, because she's sitting there unless she's in on it.
Right.
But then the audacity to be sitting there on national television with your siblings, pleading and begging for your mother to come home.
Look at how many times documentaries show that. It's always somebody you know.
Again, but I'm just saying how public it is.
I know. Then you're in a box.
And I don't think it means the wife is necessarily in on it, right? I mean, because let's say it is the brother-in-law. I don't know, of course, but let's say it is. Then, he's thinking my wife is going to inherit a third of this estate. And I think the mother was worth, her house was worth millions. I think, he's thinking that's just a way for me to get access to that money because my wife will put it in our account and I'll be able to spend it. I mean, that's because I don't think he would be a direct recipient in her will, but his wife would.
I mean, are they hard up for money? Would that not maybe have been?
The brother-in-law is not there. They might be looking jealous that Samantha Guthrie and
Savannah.
Who?
Savannah Guthrie.
Oh, Savannah Guthrie. I'm not gonna. Never mind.
Today's show host.
But my point is, would that not, if the wife is going to inherit it at some point when the mother passes away, are you so hard up right now that you need it this minute?
You're going to murder somebody or rob them?
Right, and she's 84 with heart problems. Cool your jets, it's coming, right?
Right.
And again, we don't know the brother-in-law. If it's not, that's really sucks for him. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd be suing the hell out of everyone who said it.
Yeah.
Because if I were innocent and the world is saying that I'm not.
Yeah, we're doing it based on Ashley Banfield's reporting, and she doubled and tripled down on her source.
Everybody's speculating because of Ashley Banfield, and they have also removed several items from Annie Guthrie's home where she lives with her husband. So, I mean, I think they've removed like bags of stuff from there. So you do wonder,
Well, that also makes sense though, because Annie is the caretaker. Annie is the one who was
she's there a lot,
living there with her mother in the same town. Savannah's in New York City. The brother was in Vermont or Maine or something. So Annie's the one. So that kind of makes, to me, that makes sense. You're gonna find traces of our mother in my home.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Lisa,
and who knows? I wonder. I mean, obviously, Savannah Guthrie is like the shining star of the family, and here's the sister Annie back there at home taking care of the mother.
Could be.
Maybe, maybe there's some jealousy.
Resentment.
Maybe there's some, resentment. Absolutely.
And the brother's off, he's he is retired, right? Retired F-16 fighter.
The one in Vermont?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there could be resentment there.
Be.
I mean, I hate to go down that path. But.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, what is your professional, not your professional opinion, just your gut feeling about this whole thing?
Because we'd like to solve true crime, Lisa, you and me.
I definitely think it's somebody that's close to the family. I don't know if it's the brother-in-law, but I agree with my friend that's a profiler that I think it is somebody that is in some way tied to the family. Mm-hmm. And whether it's a relative or somebody that had worked for them or something of that nature, because it's too, somebody really new. I mean, there's one true crime reporter, who I can't remember who it was, who was saying that they think it was a stranger who surveilled her for a long time. I don't know. I don't really buy that. I think it's somebody that really knew her. And my friend, the profiler, thinks it's somebody that's even close enough to her to know what her medications were. And they think that the reason that they took her but left her medications was that they had already secured a supply.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've been thinking deep down inside that she's had access to her medication.
Did you think she's dead, exactly. Lisa, or do you think because of that she still might be alive?
Yeah, I mean, if she truly was kidnapped for ransom, then I suppose she should, we would think she's still alive. If the kidnapping was all just a cover-up for some violent crime that somebody got out of control and killed her, then of course, but we don't know which it is yet. I mean, right now it's just anybody's guess. And I'm sure that police are still, they're processing DNA, they're processing all kinds of digital forensic computer, they've gone on everybody's computers and seen what their search histories were and their text messages were. And I'm sure they're going door to door collecting everybody's Ring cameras. They're going to get it figured out. I mean, this is you can't get away with a kidnapping in this day and time because there's a digital footprint everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And
especially with all the resources that are focused on it.
I was thinking, hopefully when all of this is over, and hopefully that's very soon, for Savannah Guthrie, what do you do career-wise? I mean, do you go back on television and you face everybody, or you?
I think you go back.
I don't know.
I think use your platform for good. I mean, you know what I mean?
How hard
it's got to be hard. And then every day,
yeah, especially if her mom doesn't come out of it alive. If her mom comes out of it alive, then I think she gets to kind of do the hero walk, and it'll all be okay. I think it's a harder predicament for her to continually be kind of this object of sympathy. It would possibly and she'd be devastated, but it would also be kind of hard to be as effective as a news journalist if people are just like, oh my God, that's that woman whose mother, like that constant. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the harder obstacle to overcome if the mother ends up dead.
I agree with you.
Yeah. And then it has the platform. Real quick, with Ghislaine Maxwell, this is what we heard from her recently. This is, Epstein's right-hand woman, and she's in prison and apparently not snitching on anybody.
Ms. Maxwell, were you a close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment.
Can you break that down for us? Why? Why?
Translation.
Yeah.
She, because she is, accused of these crimes and she's asking for clemency, she cannot give testimony that would, because the Fifth Amendment says you cannot be compelled to give testimony that would incriminate you in a criminal proceeding. And so when they say this, it means basically, yes, I did these crimes and I cannot talk about them, because then you would be able, you would be able to come after me. And we use it all the time, like in my sex abuse litigation practice, the perp who abused a child, even though his lawyer's going to say, take the Fifth, we still depose him, just like they did with her. And you get him on the record saying that, he can't testify because of, invoking his Fifth Amendment. And that pretty much is an admission that he did it. It means, hey, I can't answer that question because it would make me go to jail.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And then this Epstein thing, it's like we get 3 million pages, and then it's like we know some things, we don't know a lot of things, and there's still half the files aren't out there yet, or the case all the papers and stuff. It's wild.
Did you watch, Lisa? I think there was 10 hours, not that you watched it all, but 10 hours of footage of Ghislaine Maxwell in her prison cell. And just
I've seen clips of it. It's so weird.
It is so odd.
It is odd.
It is odd. But, given the way Epstein went out, it's all eyes on the cell.
Yeah, well,
closed circuit TV on her 24/7.
Right.
And it's interesting, the House Oversight Committee, they're really pressing for these unredacted records. And so far, I think they've got about 6,000 pages of the redacted records completely unredacted. And they've identified 6 names of individuals who are incriminated in there. And neither Trump nor Clinton are on that 6-person list, by the way. But a lot of the people who are on there are foreign dignitaries. And what we're seeing is really interesting. Like in the UK, they are all about punishing people who, use their public office to and get involved in this sex trafficking stuff with Jeffrey Epstein. And so you're seeing it all the way to the prime minister level for allowing it and for having people on his cabinet. And you're just seeing heads rolling in the UK. Very different than the way we're handling it in the U.S.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Lisa, you're great. You can cover anything. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa.
If you're ever injured, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com.